Hey everybody, Lane Wilkins. Hey, I'm back with another quick little video. I was thinking this morning, I was kind of getting ready for the day, and I grabbed one of my knives that I usually carry, put it in my pocket, and I started thinking, you know, it would be nice to do a quick video of the importance of the tools that you carry, especially for self-defense purpose, and it could just be for everyday use or whatever the case may be, but for my channel, it's self-defense, right? Um, but again, like you'll see some other videos are about camping, right? So, but even when I go camping, I take knives with me, all types of different knives for cooking and for processing wood, for whatever, right? But my everyday carry type of stuff that I take with me when I go to work, when I go out just, about town doing whatever, I always carry a knife with me. And I started thinking, well, I carry it, but I also train a lot with my knives as well, right? Because again, a lot of my videos are about self-defense. But I started thinking, to show people how important a couple of things are. One is the knife that you choose to carry, and then finding a training knife similar to what you carry so that you can actually practice some of the self-defense stuff that I showed, right? Just the simple X patterns back and forth, the kind of the knife fighting with using like punches and stuff that you already know, right? But you need to train with those things, and training with a live blade is not always the smartest thing in the world because especially when you're getting into this, you don't want to end up cutting yourself or doing something like that, right? So having a trainer is a really good way to get comfortable. But finding a trainer that's very similar to what you carry is key, right? So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about training as well as the types of knives you carry and why I would suggest carrying certain types of knife, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, stick around. So let's get into these in a little bit more detail. So let's start off kind of talking about, I wanted to get into why I carry what I carry. There's lots of options out there, obviously, right? And you can go and you can spend lots of money on whatever you want to do. It's strictly up to you to find the tool. Let's call it a tool that best fits your need. If you're looking for self-defense stuff, which I would assume if you're watching this video, you probably have interest in that. You can go and find tons and tons of stuff, right? I mean, you can go and look at if you want to get really into the tactical stuff, you can go and see all kinds of videos on that, right? Karambit style, you name it, there's a knife out there that someone's promoting and pushing. I don't do that. And the reason I don't do that is because I don't want to have the perception that I'm carrying a knife to use it to hurt somebody. Although I will, if I have to, right? Because, remember, keep in mind, I've trained for, 30 plus years in martial arts. I've got a lot of experience, right? And thank goodness I've hardly ever had to use what I've trained to do. I mean, it's just, most of you can de-escalate a problem pretty easily. But the world's getting crazier and crazier by the day, isn't it? So training with the things that you carry, I think, is super important. And if you're carrying a knife every day, whether you're using it to cut rope, but you're also using it, you also carry it just in case, right, that you have to use it. And none of us want to do that. But if you had to, it's there. So what I'll give you my 2 cents worth. I carry a couple of like pocket knives every day. I carry a pocket knife every day. Now there's a rotation I go through. I go to work. I work in a large company, so I don't want to walk around with a big scary knife in my pocket, right? So sometimes I'll carry a small knife like this, right? Just a little Kershaw. The one advantage to it, it's got a spring release, right? So it's a quick release knife if I had to use it, but it's little. I mean, I'm not going to do a ton of harm. Obviously you can do some harm with it, but you know what I mean. But that's what I carry a lot of times. If I'm going somewhere that, and I still like to go drink beer and I like to go to places that are, I'm a product of the 80s, right? So I like going to smoky bars and listen to you know, country and western and having a good time. But sometimes not everyone there is there to have a good time. So, you know, you could have some issues. And so when I go to places like that, I may carry something like this, right? Which is this, what is it, Tanto style, you know, tip, but it's a Kershaw and it's a big, you know, knife, and it's a big sturdy thing, right? So I might carry something like that. What I do carry almost every single day is this dude right here. And I carry this because it's orange, not scary, right? It's not tactical. It's nothing like that. It's just, it's hunter's orange. But here's the cool thing about this knife. It's got micarta blades. It's got an awesome locking mechanism. It's D2 steel, 3/8 inch. This is an awesome knife. And I think this is an Emerson. There's no brand on this knife, which is insane to me that someone would make such a nice knife and not brand it. But anyhow, I think it was an Emerson. But I carry this because the length is plenty good. It gives me the distance I need. It's got a great point, good surface cutting edge. It's got a good finger choil. It fits grippy really good, right? So I can come in and really fight with this knife if I had to. Or I could just cut rope with it or clean the dirt underneath my fingernails, whatever you want to do. Point is, it's a good knife, right? And I found this early on when Emerson was just kind of starting getting going. And so I think I got this for pretty cheap, actually. But you can find these types of knives, and I would strongly recommend going this route versus going out and getting a pocket karambit, right? Great knives, a lot of fun to play with, especially you'll get a trainer, they're a blast to play with and, you know, do all kinds of fun stuff. But I don't think this is what you want to be carrying if you actually ever had to use one of these things, because that's not going to look really good when, for evidence, they drag that and throw it out on the judge's, you know, desk and says, oh, what are you carrying that for, right? We all know that this is a versatile tool, just like any other tool or knife. But the point is, it's got a reputation. It's a Filipino martial art, you know, weapon of death, right? Or whatever they want to say. They'll make it bad because it's a fighting, it's related to fighting with knives. Versus it's a pocket knife, right? Yeah, it may be a little longer, but still it's a pocket knife. And that's what this is. This is not a fighting knife. Nowhere in the description would you ever find this to say this is a fighting knife. But I promise you right now, it's a very good, effective tool if you had to do that. Great thing about that blade is I've got this trainer with it. And man, these things are almost identical. Length, width, it even has the same kind of mechanics. It's got the little pocket, whatever this is called, the pocket clip. It's got, both has the thumb pegs for the slow release, right? They're both lock blades, so even this one's got even a fake little thing, or not fake, it really works, but you have to like push that, right? This one is just like you pull back on these things right there. But these knives are almost identical to each other, right? There it is, slow, right? It's not a scary knife. Cool thing is with this and that knife right there, I have a trainer that's almost exactly the same. So it's almost identical. Weight-wise, a little different, obviously. But I can go to the heavy bag, I can go to Bob, I can go to a tree, I can sit out and you know, just air, you know, whatever, and whip this around and practice with it, change hands with it, right? You know, and come in, you know, do all kinds of shifts and, you know, whatever, right? You can do all kinds of fun stuff and practice with your knife, right? That is super important, that you practice with these things, because if you carry a knife, whether it's for cutting cordage or, you know, whatever it may be, if you ever have to use that knife for self-defense, make sure you have something comparable to train with, because you really need to learn how to use this tool to make it effective, right? I mean, anyone could just start slapping around stuff, but to make this effective, to end a fight quickly, where you don't have to just stab someone to death, right? You could maybe make it one slice right across the arm as they're coming in, and they grab their hand and they start, you know, grabbing their hand and lose track of you, and you can get out of there, right? That's a lot better than having to kill somebody, or you get killed yourself, right? So remember, we talked about escalation points. So just keep in mind, you know, tactical, it looks cool, but, you know, it's tactical. And so when they see you carrying something that's all black versus something that's orange, right? I mean, look at the difference. I mean, there's really no difference. This is actually a better fighting knife if you get down to it than this is, right? It's got serrated edge, it's got that Tanto flat end, you know? This is a much better blade, but this, you know, that's more tactical looking and cool, right? Other thing I was gonna point out with this, if I drop this in a fight, or if I drop this in the grass or whatever, it's orange, right? I could find this a lot easier than I could something like this if I'm fighting, you know, in the city somewhere and we're fighting in the street. Asphalt's black, right? And so it's dark, and so you good luck finding your knife. Well, you can, but it's gonna be tough versus having this blaze orange thing laying on the ground. So a little easier to grab and to keep track of if you need to do that. One other thing I was gonna talk about was the fixed blades, right? So fixed blade, again, it's one my buddy Jeff Crowner made for me. I carry these when I go camping and stuff like that, or the weekends I may have this on my hip. Obviously I don't carry this every day to work and stuff like that. It'd be a little goofy, but if you're able to carry a fixed blade every day, you may not have an office job like me, and you have something along these lines that you could carry a good fixed blade, I would highly recommend doing that, right, than a folder. Folder's got mechanical pieces to it that could break on you, right? This is a good tool to have, right? And you need a good one. If I had my preference, I would carry a fixed blade all day long, but I can't carry this to my office, right? But you may not have the same stuff as me. If you do have something like that, go get you one of these, right? They're everywhere. You can find these online, Amazon. You can find this Ronin gear on Amazon as well, right? This is a great little pocket knife. You could probably find something very comparable to this all day long. And this is a great trainer. But one of these for a fixed blade, you can go get one of these little rubber knives, you know. If you've ever taken martial arts, I'm sure you've probably seen these laying around the dojo somewhere. But these are great, you know, because you can sit there and you can do all this stuff that you're doing, right, with your fixed blades, but you can play around with this and, you know, hit yourself. And if you actually cut yourself while you're kind of practicing or whatever, it's fine. This one is the same way, right? It's got a big flat, dull, you know, blade side on it, so you know, can't hurt you, can't do anything. But these little trainers like this are worth their weight in gold if you really want to get comfortable using a knife in self-defense. So I hope that helps. There's so many options out there, right? So many options that you can go out and get to do this and to have self-defense tools like these. These are just a handful of what I've got obviously tons of these little things laying around, but this is, like I said, these are the ones that are kind of in my rotation. I carry this, and I've got a little Kershaw. I can't remember what it's called, but it's another. You know, I would probably wouldn't even pull that thing out if I had to protect myself. It's so small, but it's got a beer bottle opener on it, so it's kind of fun to carry around the weekends, you know. But this guy right here is okay, but it's too small. To me, it doesn't give me enough. If it's all I have, I'm fine. It's better than nothing, don't get me wrong. But it's really small, right? And I want to have a little bit of distance, right? Because no matter, you know, I don't know what they've got, right? So I'd rather have something a little bit bigger. Doesn't have to be huge, but a little bit bigger. Something that's got a little bit more purchase for my hand. I got big hands. This little guy right here, you know, my hand, all the way down to my ring fingers hanging off, right? See, it's right there at the edge. So I don't have enough purchase on that. So, you know, obviously not as good as something like that guy, right? So if you're going to go and find you a good knife to carry for self-defense, right, everyday carry, that's my 2 cents worth. Get something that doesn't look scary, something that's really well made. It's got some length to it, right? So I mean, you can see, you know, it's got some pretty good length to it. I would probably say, blade wise, that'd be about 3 inches, and then this right here probably about, you know, a good 4.5, almost 5 inches, but enough to get that good purchase on your hand. And it wasn't that expensive, so you can find good knives. So anyhow, I hope that helps if you're interested in looking for something, or that kind of knife and trainer knife, so that you're getting comfortable with using these types of things for self-defense. I hope that helps you make some decisions around your purchase of a knife and a trainer. So anyhow, I'll wrap this up. I don't want to make it too long, but hope this helps again. Until I see you next time, take care, keep training, and be safe.